Welcome to Mahjong 101. In this series that I'm making, we are going to learn how to read the National Mahjong League card. So if you haven't seen the other videos, make sure to go back and watch those. So today we are going to focus on the 2026 section. That is the first section on the card. Every year, the National Mahjong League puts out a new card, and it comes out on April 1st. And they usually have a year section. So this year obviously is 2026. Next year, it'll probably say 2027. So let's go ahead and look at the 4 lines that are in this section. So one thing to remember is that a white dragon is used as a 0, and it may be used with any suit. Now, that is that special tile that we talked about earlier called soap. A white dragon, when it's used as a white dragon, it goes with the dots, which look like this. But when it is being used as a neutral tile, as a 0, then it does not have to be used with dots. It can be used with cracks or bams or dots. So it becomes neutral if it's used as a 0. And you will need to have soaps to build out any of the lines on the 2026 section to make a mahjong. So let's start with the first line. Let me grab my line reader. Line readers are super helpful when you're first learning how to play so that you can just narrow down a single line. So you can use a bookmark, piece of paper, whatever you have. Okay, so let's read what this one says. It says it has to be any 2 suits. How do I know that is any 2 suits? It's because there are 2 colors. Now, do those suits have to match these colors? Nope. Even though it's green, it doesn't have to be a green tile. And even those are red, they don't have to be cracks. These can be whatever 2 I want it to be. Okay, so one of the suits are going to be a pung of 2s. So let's, just for fun, let's actually use cracks for that pung so that we can show how the colors don't have to match. Okay, so we need a pung of 2s. So that is 3 of the same tile. Now, can I substitute these for different numbers? No, the answer is no. In the 2020 section, you can only use 2s, 0s, and 6s in this entire section. So if you do not get dealt any 2s, 0s, or 6s when you start playing, you're probably not going to go for this section. Okay, what is the next thing I need to build this line? I need 3 soaps, which are going to act as 0s. Okay, so that is the first 2 parts of the line already built. Now, if I want to have these 2s be bams, could I do that? Yeah, you could. Because remember, you get to choose which suits you use to build your line. And it also depends on what you get dealt as well. So sometimes the tiles are going to choose you, right? All right, so it could look like that. So 2s and 0s, or it can look like this, 2s and 0s. But whatever you do, whatever you choose, you have to realize that you cannot use that first suit again. You have to use a different suit for the second part of the line. So just for this line, I'm going to say let's stick with our cracks. And we have our 3 0s, right? Our pung of 0s. Now let's choose a different suit to build the rest of the hand. We can't use cracks, so let's use dots instead. See how these numbers, the 2s and 6s, the kongs match colors? They're both red. That is because they must be the same suit. So the 2s have to be the same suit as the 6s, and they cannot be the same suit as this pung over here. So let's go ahead and get some dots. We need 4 of the 2s. So I'm going to use dots in this section here. Okay. 3 cracks, 3 soaps, and now we have a totally different suit for our 2s here. And now we have to make sure that our 6s, we need 4 of them, also match the 2s. So they also have to be dots. So let me grab those. And there we go. That is a valid mahjong on the 2026 line. Let's check it. So we have 3 twos and cracks. We have 3 soaps that are standing for zeros. We have a Kong of 2s, so 4 twos and 4 sixes. And there are so many different combinations we can do with this hand. For example, this side could be all cracks, and this one could be dots. Or these ones could be bams, and these ones could be cracks. It does not matter. You have 3 suits to choose from. So you get to choose what those 2 suits will be, depending on what you get dealt. And the zeros, you don't have to worry about a suit for that because they are neutral tiles. That's why they're in blue. It's just kind of neutral, and you don't have to match it to anything. So there you go. There's the first line of the 2026 card. Now let's do the second line. Let's see how different that looks. Okay. So in that second line, it says any 2 suits with matching dragons. The Kong can be a 2 or a 6. So that means that I can choose if that set of 4 right there are 2s or 6s. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like. So our 2026 needs to be in 1 suit. So let's just do BAMs just for fun here. All right, so I have a 2026 in BAMs, but it has to have matching dragons because that's what it says there. So what dragon goes with my BAMs? Well, that's the green dragon. So that is a valid first part of that line. Now let's see what that would look like if I chose cracks instead. See the difference? Now it's cracks and the matching dragon is red. Let's see what it would look like with soaps. Now this might look a little confusing to some of you because here we're using the soap tile as a 0, so 2026, but here we're using them as white dragons. So that would be a valid first part of the line. Okay, so let's just keep, let's go back to cracks just so it's not confusing. Okay, and we'll keep that for the first part of this line. So we have the first part is going to be cracks with the matching dragons, matching red dragons. And now we need to choose if our Kong is going to be 2s or 6s. So this would really depend, like, well, how would you choose which ones you're going to do? Well, it depends on what tiles you have. If you have a lot of 6s, then your Kongs aren't going to be able to be 2s. The only thing we need to make sure is that the 6s or 2s are a different suit because we need any 2 suits. So for this, I'm going to go for BAMs. So now I've added my BAMs because those are 2 different suits. There's 4 6s. And now I need matching, it says matching dragons with that Kong. So the matching dragon for my BAMs, that would be the green dragon. And I need 3 of them. So here we go. Now that is a valid mahjong. Now let's talk about where we could and could not play jokers in this hand. Could we play jokers in this part of the hand? Yeah. We could have a joker as one of the dragons, or 2 of them or 3 of them. Could we play a joker here? Yep, absolutely. You could have 1 joker there, or if you wanted to. If you were lucky enough to have all 4 jokers, you could have jokers there. Could we have jokers in the section with the red dragons here? Yes. Can we have jokers in this section? The answer is no, because these are all single tiles acting as 2026. So we could never say, oh, I'm going to just use that as a single 0. That is not valid. We also could not do that for a single 2. That is also not valid. So for that part of the hand, we must have all of the natural tiles. And that is how to do the 2026 line too. Now for this last part, I'll make another video to go over these next 2 lines so you can understand how to do them.